The Accident has been a success on Netflix and brought us a tragic story of family pain, but the series also holds several interesting secrets about its creation. That's what we'll talk about here. Today on Charlietales, we'll discuss the series, those details you missed, and analyze various hidden messages in the characters. Ready? Let's go! Did the terrible accident in the series happen in real life? According to the series creator Leonardo Padron, the story is purely fiction. However, the accident itself is based on real life. According to a study from the University of Georgia, since the year 2000, there have been 130 recorded accidents involving inflatable bounce houses, with at least 28 people dying in them. One of the most recent occurred in 2021, during an end-of-year school party in Australia. The inflatable castle flew away, and 4 children died. So specifically, the accident in the series never happened, but it is based on other real accidents. The series heavily explores the concept of the butterfly effect. This philosophical idea suggests that a very small event can cause unimaginable chaos. The example of a butterfly flapping its wings, potentially causing a hurricane on the other side of the world, is commonly used. In the Netflix series, they portray something similar with the tragedy of the children. It all started with a tiny act: Emiliano not securing the stake for the bounce house. This event triggered something massive with the death of the children, but it also caused other effects, such as Moncho's death, David's death, and the destruction of several families, all because of a simple stake. Many movies have explored the interesting concept of the butterfly effect, and the series The Accident portrays it quite well. Where was the accident filmed? The series was shot in Tequisquiapan, a city in the state of Querétaro, located in the central northern region of Mexico. This place is known for its rich history and colonial architecture. According to Leonardo Padron, the location selection wasn't his decision. It was Netflix's exclusive choice. The creator reveals that Netflix is now considering Mexico quite a bit as a setting for shooting several of its productions. To film the bounce house scene, the production used many practical effects and avoided CGI as much as possible. They used a cable system to physically lift the bounce house into the sky. Additionally, there were many giant fans to simulate the wind. This helped the actors feel more realism in the scene, as there were chairs and even tables flying. Of course, for the most dangerous parts, they used several dummies to represent the children, so they were never in any real danger. According to the series writer, Leonardo Padron, one of the messages he tried to convey is that no one is 100% good or bad. In every person, there are dark corners they can fall into when a tragedy like the one in the series occurs. This is represented in all the characters of the story, but it is especially striking in characters like Lupita, who throughout the series is shown as a victim of her abusive husband, but then we are surprised to find out that she was the one who killed Moncho, so she is not innocent. Similarly, there are other characters who seem to have a clean conscience, but also have something dark, like Daniela, for example. Near the end, it's revealed that she was unfaithful to her husband with a co-worker, and this was long before the tragedy. No one is good or bad 100% of the time. The characters Carla and her husband David are quite different from the rest, for a very particular reason. They didn't lose a child in the accident, however they still got involved in the tragedy, due to their own vices. On one hand, David was unfaithful to his wife with Lupita, taking advantage of the fact that she was vulnerable after losing her son. On the other hand, Carla took advantage of the tragedy to advance her professional career, not caring that she was hurting her sister. The tragedy did not directly hit them. They had a baby on the way, and everything to be a happy family, but they didn't know how to appreciate it. The series uses this couple to show us that anyone can do bad things, even if the tragedy hasn't touched them. At the end of the story, they pay the consequences of their actions. David dies from a gunshot, and Carla ends up without a husband and estranged from her sister. Their ending is quite unfortunate. Carla and David didn't have a great marriage, but it still ends with Carla desperately searching for her missing husband. This makes it clear that despite everything, she always loved him, but she didn't realize it in time. The series creates a very interesting symbolism using the character Yolanda and Rodrigo's tablet, the late son of Daniela. At the beginning of the story, we see Yolanda's son happily playing with this tablet since Rodrigo lent it to him. But Yolanda would tell him that he shouldn't use it because he could break it. The truth was that Yolanda always had resentment towards wealthy people, which is why she didn't want to accept anything from them. Later in the story, it shows that she was right. These rich people only caused them harm. However, the ending takes an interesting turn. Emiliano ends up in jail, and despite her sadness, Daniela seeks out Yolanda to fulfill the promises made to her and send her and her children to the United States. Daniela apologizes to Yolanda for the harm they caused and gives her Rodrigo's tablet. even though it was an important object of her son. On the plane, we see Yolanda giving the tablet to her son, happy to see him use it. She no longer feels the same resentment she did at the beginning of the story. She knows that among the rich, there are terrible people, but despite everything, there are good people like Daniela. Another interesting symbolism is shown through Brenda and her son's puzzle. In the middle of the series, Brenda completes a puzzle to remember the little one, but a piece is missing. She gets frustrated because Mateo always finished the puzzles. At the end of the series, we see how her husband framed the puzzle in tribute to Mateo, and it's still missing a piece. This is a message from the series. When a child dies, the pain will always remain. A piece will always be missing in a parent's life. But despite that, you can learn to live with that pain and remember your child, even if he is no longer there. Initially, Brenda wanted to have another child to replace Mateo, but then she realized that was wrong. No child can replace another. In the end, she accepts this reality. And like the puzzle, she has to live even if a piece of her life is missing. Another important message is hidden between the characters, Emiliano and Charo. Both lost a child, but the story taught them two very different things. At the end of the series, Emiliano tells him that they will both suffer in two different prisons, Emiliano in guilt and Charo in hatred. Charo always had evil in his heart. When his son died, he only thought about revenge. First with Mancho, who turned out to be innocent, and then with Emiliano, the true culprit. And although both paid, Charo always sought more. That's why, in the end, we even see that he used his money to follow Emiliano to jail. His hatred keeps sickening him, and will be a prison he will never be able to escape from. On the other hand, Emiliano is also paying for his tragedy, but with the prison of guilt. He will always feel guilty for his son, and regrets what he did. But unlike Charo, he doesn't live with hatred in his heart. He knows he failed in many things, but accepts it with courage. This is an important message, considering that Emiliano began the story as a cowardly man who didn't want to accept the weight of his mistake. Emiliano changed, but Charo will always remain the same. Will there be a second season of The Accident? The reality is that the series creator has already stated that this was planned for just one season. However, many fans noticed that there were several loose ends in the series. For example, Lupita was never punished for killing Mancho, who was always innocent. Or we can also mention Daniela's former co-worker, Ulysses, who was shown as a corrupt cop who didn't get what he deserved. Similarly, there are several events that were left unresolved. But what do you think? Will there be a second season? Or is it the end of everything? The series has been a total success, and in its first week, it has ranked among the most watched on Netflix. It even reached first place in 72 countries, including much of Latin America, but also the United States, and even countries like the United Kingdom, South Africa, and Turkey. With these excellent numbers, it would usually be quite logical to expect a second season, but so far, Netflix has not officially commented on the matter. But anyway, that's all for today. If you liked the video, you would help me a lot by leaving a like. That would be legendary. Also remember to subscribe, because I'll be uploading more videos about your favorite movies. Thanks for listening. My name is Charlie, and I'll see you in the future.